Hey everyone, my name's Dylan and welcome to the very first devlog for Heroes of Telestria. So right out of the gate, I want to tell you something most game developers would probably cringe at. I'm breaking the #1 rule of indie game development. You've probably heard it before. Start small. Don't start with your dream game, build tiny projects, learn the ropes, then go big. Yeah, I'm not doing that. In my head, this game is already finished. I know what I want it to be. I'm not discovering it as I go or finding it along the way. I'm just building it. And that's what this whole dev series is going to be about. I want to bring you along for the ride, the good, the bad, the messy, the hopefully impressive, probably some embarrassing parts. Eventually, once I've got something really solid to show, a real proof of concept, I'd love to launch a Kickstarter and bring some people on to supplement my weaknesses so I can focus on my strengths. But that means I need to start building support here, on the channel, on socials, just sharing the process. So if any of that resonates with you, stick around. So what is this game? Heroes of Telestria is a 3D hack-and-slash adventure JRPG. It's basically my current dream game, and the funny part is, it all started because I missed a game from my childhood. That game was Gauntlet. Gauntlet Legends, Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I used to play it with my friends and siblings, just pick up piles of loot, and cause the best kind of multiplayer chaos. Now the weird thing about Gauntlet is, if you look back on it now, or watch old reviews, everyone kind of agrees it wasn't that good of a game. The story was paper thin, the characters had zero development, some of the controls and the camera were downright awful. So I started thinking, how do I recreate that feeling I had playing Gauntlet Legends without also recreating everything that sucked about it? What made it fun? How do I make something that doesn't fall apart under today's expectations? So let's get into the world of Telestria. It's a classic high fantasy continent, but in this world, some people have been touched by the spirits and granted powers to be used in helping and defending the land. But of course, history isn't all pretty. The nations of Telestria have dark pasts, old wars, political betrayal, entire bloodlines wiped out for power, and if you mess with the spirits, well, that usually comes back to haunt you. Darkness is spreading and the Heroes Guild is responsible for keeping it at bay. But recently, things have gotten a little more intense, and the adventure begins because they have to go out into the land and fight darkness at its core, find where it's coming from, and stop it. One of the things I'm most excited for is that Telestria is a continent with several unique regions. Each region has its own unique culture, history, architecture, types of enemies, local politics, but it all comes together to form a continent. You travel across these lands, meet new factions, complete quests, and help rebuild the trust in the heroes and push back the darkness. There's even a reputation meter for each region, so the more people you help, the more side quests you complete, the more rewards, support, or special items you can unlock in that area. It's a way to tie together the big dungeon crawling adventure with smaller stories that actually affect the world. So who do you actually play? Heroes of Telestria is built around a guild of heroes. At the start, it'll be pretty small, just a few members, probably releasing with 4, maybe 8 characters, but the goal is to have over 20 unique playable characters, some unlocked at the beginning, some you unlock through gameplay, each with their own unique fighting style, backstory, and personality. I'm a huge fan of animes like Fairy Tail or My Hero Academia, shows that center around a guild or a team where characters have rivalries, friendships, sibling bonds, sometimes even awkward crushes. And that's exactly the kind of vibe that I want here. If you pick a certain hero to play together, you might have unique conversations. If they're rivals, they could trash talk mid-combat. If they're old friends, they might support each other or have inside jokes. It's all about making it feel like you're part of a real, messy, lovable group. Alright, let's get to the actual gameplay. If you've ever played Gauntlet, especially Legends or Dark Legacy, you know the game loop. Pick a hero, go through one level at a time, fight enemies, destroy generators, collect gold, keys, items, open chests, disable traps, avoid traps, get stronger, find the end, move to the next area. Do that a couple times, fight a big boss. Do that whole loop a couple of times, fight the final boss. That's it. So I want to keep that core game loop while fixing some of the stuff that could potentially make it boring. So in Heroes of Telestria, the levels are designed like dungeon crawlers. Traps to avoid or disable, hidden gold, rare items, combat buffs to temporarily supercharge your hero, collectibles to grow your character's long-term power, maybe even complete side quests by collecting them. And at the end of each region, there's a massive boss fight, something cinematic and over the top that ties to the lore of that area. Now the big question is, why make it a JRPG? Honestly, with all the things that Gauntlet lacked, JRPGs are the most character and story-driven games in the market, and that satisfies what Gauntlet was missing. They give you the time to dive deep into who your heroes are, why they care, what they're fighting for. The other thing Gauntlet needed to fix was the art style. JRPGs are known for beautiful aesthetics, and I have ambitious goals in what I want to achieve. If you've ever seen the works of Makoto Shinkai, Suzume, Weathering with You, Your Name, you know what I'm going for. Traditional anime characters surrounded by breathtaking worlds made of stylized but almost photorealistic environments embellished by cinematic post-processing. I've seen examples of it in 3D software, and I know it can be done, and in concept, I know how to do it, but I've never seen it in a video game. Now, even though that's super ambitious, I think it's possible. Using basic anime-style models, that's been done in video games. Free or cheap PBR textures filtered through the proper shaders in Unity, and Unity's URP or HDRP for lighting and post-processing. Putting that all together into a complete visual aesthetic is something I'm still figuring out, and honestly, the game doesn't look anywhere close to this yet, which is why if you've seen a lot of my social media posts so far, you're seeing AI concept art. But that's the vision, that's the dream, and no AI will be used in the final render. Now, of course, every game needs an epic soundtrack, especially a JRPG. My background is as a music producer and audio engineer. I write and compose, and one of the reasons I fell in love with music was because of video games. Growing up with the legendary works of Koji Kondo and Nobuo Uematsu, finding the Ghibli universe composed by Joe Hisaishi, I needed to learn to make that kind of music. I've worked mostly in pop and rock music with a cinematic edge, but I love composing music, and this is going to be an outlet to stretch my legs, really enjoy bringing the music to life in a game I'm passionate about. Honestly, that's something a lot of indie games underdeliver on, and it makes a huge difference in how memorable a game is. Now for another ambitious goal. Why make this a 4-player co-op online? It just adds a lot of complexity, right? Especially if you game for cross-platform. Yeah, it does, but honestly, when Helldivers 2 blew up recently, it proved something I already suspected. There's a huge audience of players that are tired of PvP. Games like Fortnite, League of Legends, the competitive nature of international gameplay, and just the trash talking. They want a game where they can team up with friends, crush waves of enemies, and save the world together. And that's the kind of fun I had playing Gauntlet. That's something I think is missing in a lot of modern RPGs, and that's what I want to bring back. Now let's be super honest for a minute. Most of my recent work on this game hasn't been glamorous over the past couple months. It's not cinematic cutscenes or breathtaking combat. It's been creating an AI system for enemies that can track and swarm you, a hero stat system that controls health, power, gear, inventory, level up systems, experience, scaling, item pickups, chest, keys, gold, gates, making those systems, a dialogue manager for future story scenes and cutscenes, and even basic environmental traps, just the general gameplay loop. That's why if you followed me on social media, you've seen a lot of what I posted as AI art and themed ideas, because the core gameplay just doesn't look the way I want it to be. But that's also why I'm starting these devlogs, because not just to show the highlights, but the actual process. Because eventually, once I've got a solid vertical slice, I plan on launching a Kickstarter. But to get there, I need your support, your feedback, and honestly, just eyes on the project. So here's what you can expect from me going forward. I'll be making more devlogs like this. Some will go deep on specific features, how combat and combos work, how the relationship system changes the dialogue in the story, how I'm designing these giant boss fights, level design and world building, and I'll chop these up into shorter clips for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram, so if you're there too, you can follow along. Now, I know I'm breaking the #1 rule of indie game dev. It's risky, probably even dumb by many people's standards, but this is my dream game. It's finished in my head, and now it's just about getting it out into the world piece by piece. Putting the time in, and if any of this sounds interesting, if you miss old school dungeon crawlers, if you love JRPG stories and you want a gorgeous co-op game to play with your friends, please stick around. Like the video, drop a comment of what you'd like to see in a game like this, and subscribe if you want to watch it come to life. Thanks for watching. I'm Dylan. This is Heroes of Telestria, and I'll see you in the next devlog.